Some final thoughts now. It's that time again. Time to celebrate another presidential election cycle, an event that's inching closer to becoming a perpetual race as opposed to a process that occurs every 4 years. Did you catch the first Republican debate last Thursday? There were so many candidates, they had to split the field into two groups. It reminds me of when they have to add a gate to the Kentucky Derby to accommodate all the horses whose owners can afford the entrance fee. It's much the same with respect to these early primary shows. The candidates we get to see are the ones who have enough money to buy the media coverage that amounts to an entrance fee. You may have noticed that I use the term show to describe these spectacles. That's because using the word debate would be a misnomer. The word debate refers to a formal discussion of topics in a public forum in which opposing arguments are put forth. Conversely, the current format rarely offers differing opinions. Other than the occasional Christy Paul dust-up, it's more about personalities than it is policies, and more about sound bites than it is solutions. Of course, this criticism isn't aimed just at the Republican Party. It would be true of the Democrats as well, assuming they could force their leading candidate to even entertain the idea of speaking to issues rather than taking selfies with the Kardashians. However, Mrs. Clinton appears to have invoked a vow of silence that impress a mime. So we're left with a political version of the Celebrity Apprentice. Literally. The only difference is that Donald Trump only gets to fire the moderators. So how can we get something of substance from this charade? Here are two suggestions. First, dismiss candidates who announce they're going to release plans about any given issue sometime in the future, because they're just buying time. Here's a news flash for those candidates. The presidential election will be held on November 8th, 2016, and the date won't change. No one forced you to enter the race this early. And if you don't already have your plans in place, why did you throw your hat in the ring? This is particularly appalling in the case of candidates who have previously run for president. They have no excuse not to be totally prepared. Those who ran in 2012 have had 4 years to refine their positions. And a certain candidate comes to mind that ran in 2008 who's had 8 years to crystallize hers. Secondly, the oath of office is as follows. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my abilities, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. I suggest dismissing candidates who announce that they'll repeal any law during their first day in office. While executive orders may be fair game, Article 2 of the Constitution does not give the President the authority to repeal acts of Congress. Therefore, candidates who claim that they'll repeal a law passed by the legislative branch are either intentionally misrepresenting the truth to emotionally appeal to low-information voters, or they fundamentally do not understand the Constitution that the oath of office requires them to preserve, protect, and defend. These two simple rules will narrow the field quickly on both sides of the aisle. Concentrate your time on vetting the legitimate candidates, and then have the courage to cast an informed vote.